It's the Silly Moustache here. Someone whose name I can no longer find, my apologies for this, asked me recently in the comments of one of my earlier videos about my string preferences. And I thought that I had gone on rather a lot about strings in the past, but let's recap the situation. So, for a long time I have had the same attitude towards my string. This is my string box, okay? It's rather full, and it is strings for everything: mandolins, dobros, and all my flat tops and arch tops, of course, but largely let's talk about flat tops. My go-to strings for my larger instruments, my 3 dreadnoughts and my jumbo that I shall use in a moment, and my resonators tend to be D'Addario EJ17s. Those are medium gauge and they're 13 to 56. That's the gauge that I've been using for 100 years when I was in bluegrass bands and all that sort of thing, and I don't really see any need to change it, although these old things are getting rather tired and worn out. 1356 EJ17s. And for my smaller ones, triple O down to the size O, that will be EJ16s, 12 to 53. Both of these are phosphor bronze, that is my preference, and they're uncoated, as I don't like uncoated. I don't have that acid body chemistry that requires it, and I have very, very dry hands. And also, I don't play in sweaty, smoky clubs or anything. I don't play out quite as much as I used to now. However, I do live in a part of southeast England where we tend to have quite a high relative humidity at the moment, and in my house it has usually a little bit more humidity than elsewhere. So what was it that made me suddenly go out and buy a set of strings from D'Addario that cost twice as much as these strings? These strings have gone up from £5 to £10 per set in my recent history, and they're asking £20. £20. Okay. So is that justifiable? So anyway, I got this set of strings and I put them on my smallest guitar at the moment, my Eastman E20P, which is an equivalent of a Martin size 0 concert. And so I put these on before Christmas, I think the beginning of December, and they're still looking pretty bright and nice, and let's see how they sound. Well, to me, my first impression, which I wasn't terribly crazy about them on the first week or so, but I thought they were louder than my normal strings. Could that be? They certainly don't squeak like uncoated strings. They feel nice. And I noticed, comparing the gauges, that they're very, very, very slightly less tension on the wound strings, very slightly, minimally. So anyway, I went crazy. I put a set of XS lights, 12 to 53, on this, on my double O's and my treble O. My treble O seems to really come alive with it. And then I went really crazy and I bought a pack of 3 medium gauge. That's for my 3 dreads and my Royce Mech, my Santa Cruz Royce Mech, which is all about the bass, baby, right? 5-inch deep body. And so these have been on not long, about a week. So they're just about to settle in. And so let's see what this one sounds like. Clean, warm, kind of like these things, but they're £20 each set. Now, I did a little bit of maths before I came out to do this, and with these strings now costing about £10 a set, not a pack, a set, I estimate that changing my strings about 4 times a year, every 3 months on my flat tops, I was spending between £320 and £400 a year. £320 to £400 a year. I had it written down what that was in dollars, but I've forgotten it. I'll put that down in the description. But these, on this one at least, they're still doing fine after 6 months. So I worked out that, with a lot of very complicated maths, I worked out that if I was paying £10 every quarter for these per guitar and £20 per 6 months for these for every guitar, the end product of course would be exactly the same at £320 to £400. So will these last me 6 months or 7 months or 9 months? If they last me 7 months each, I'll be saving a little bit of money. If they last 9 months, I'm quids in. So I'm going to test that, and this is my first test item, and the dreadlocks, which get a little bit harder work when I'm playing them, of course, and with the flat pick. You know, it's going to be an interesting test. I've made a note, as I always do, in my little pick boxes about when I put the strings on and what they are and all that sort of thing. So I shall be able to do that reckoning. But at the moment, I really prefer them. And this is from a guy that doesn't like coated strings. There you go. Maybe we all have to change our minds about things as the technology, as the methodology, as the Dario keeps coming up with new things. I wait with interest to see what Martin are going to do, because I used to use Martin MA 540s and 50s as well. But they don't talk about coated so much now, they talk about treated, which I think is a whole different thing, something to do with the VCI, putting VCI or spraying them on the strings or something. I don't know, I wish they would be more precise and tell us more about it. So there we are. Alright, this has been about the 155th take of this, because I was supposed to be doing something else today, but after feeling rough for a little while, I and my dear wife have both tested positive for COVID, and I found it rather difficult trying to do this video earlier today. So anyway, keep wearing the masks, keep taking the tablets, and if you have any questions or any comments, please put them down below. I always read them and I always endeavour to answer them. And if you have any ideas for other subjects that you would like me to talk about, they are always very, very welcome. So if you have been, thanks for watching. Bye.